politics. U.S. Senate candidate Val Demings in her first interview with the LGBTQ community. Is Marco Rubio next? Well, finally, tonight we have one more important story, and it's the story that affects all LGBTQ lives in Florida and the U.S. Senate for all of America. Currently, the Equality Act and virtually everything that is important to the LGBTQ community, including Supreme Court nominations, hang in the balance of a 50-50 tie in the U.S. Senate. Florida's conservative and anti-LGBTQ Senator Marco Rubio is running for re-election in November. The presumptive Democratic nominee will be U.S. Congresswoman and former Orlando Police Chief Val Demings. Tonight, we will bring you the first ever interview directly with the LGBTQ community as a candidate for U.S. Senate. She spoke at the Florida LGBTQ Democratic Caucus called Turn It Up, Turn It Out. She spoke before the largest gathering of LGBTQ political advocates in St. Petersburg and then walked to our pop-up studio for the first ever Florida LGBTQ interview. It's interesting that this firebrand came to the interview riding her Harley Davidson motorcycle. We explore her law enforcement roots combined with her unusual position of being a woman of color. These two combinations make her an opponent to Senator Rubio that is not typical for Florida. You get to see the interview first and then her powerful speech before the LGBTQ community. Senate candidate Val Demings. Well, Al Ferguson at Queer News Tonight, and we are at the Florida LGBTQ Democratic Caucus, and I have just watched an electrifying speech. This is the first time that I've had the pleasure of meeting Congresswoman Val Demings. Of course, the LGBTQ community in Florida knows one of our valiant congresswomen serving in the U.S. House of Representatives. And a little secret, in case you haven't heard and you're living under a rock, she's running for U.S. Senate. And who is she running against? Let me think. Oh, yes, now I remember. Marco Rubio. Thank you for taking a few minutes with us at Queer News Tonight.
It's great to be with you.
Your speech tonight was electrifying. Of course, the crowd was ecstatic. And I was asking people the energy that you were distributing here tonight at this caucus presentation. And then I heard the reason why you were so excited tonight is you all day doing your campaign presentations all over Florida. You're riding around on your Harley Davidson and getting off and doing your presentation, and that just energizes you. Is that true?
My
is what I've heard?
2004 Harley Davidson Road King Classic.
You know,
all day today.
All day.
Yes.
Gives you a lot of energy. I am completely now enthralled with you because I have a Harley Davidson, and we're Harley riders. Now, of course, Orlando Mayor and your representation in Congress for Orlando, you've decided to run for U.S. Senate on the Marco Rubio seat. You said something tonight that really is fascinating. We've been talking here and we've been listening to speeches and interviews about what's going on in Florida and these bills about students and don't say gay and banning books and transgender health attacks. And you loudly said, I'm a mother of 3 sons. Leave our children the hell alone. Not just alone. Tell us about that. Where does that emotion come from?
Well, you know, I grew up the daughter of a maid and a janitor. I was poor, black, female. I know what it feels like to be called ugly names. I know what it feels like to be discriminated against. I know what it feels like to be bullied and picked on just because of who I am. And so I just have zero tolerance for it. You know, I think about my 3 sons and I think about the children who are just trying to grow up to be wonderful adults and experience all that this great country is supposed to have to offer. We owe them more than to make them feel bad about who they are. We're so much better than that as a nation, and I just have zero tolerance for it.
You know, in your speech tonight at the Florida LGBTQ Democratic Caucus, in the news in a secondary way is Senator Rubio. He spoke this week in kind of a massaging of what happened on January 6th. And he said quite controversial words in terms of it may not have been an attack on the Capitol and it wasn't exactly what we thought. And you were the first person I thought of when I heard his words this week. What do you think about Senator Rubio representing Florida and his reaction to January 6th, and what your reaction is?
I'm very disappointed in Senator Rubio because we know what we saw with our eyes, heard with our ears, and experienced with our souls. He was there that day. He heard the glass breaking, the doors being beat down, the police officers being beat down, the ugly, racist things that were being said. And to deny that, he's a weak leader. He's one who will say anything for political gain. We're talking about a senator who voted against an independent commission to investigate what happened on January 6th. A commission that would have had an equal number of Republicans and Democrats. What is he so afraid of?
And what do you think the motivation for his positioning on January 6th is, to exactly what you just said?
I really believe that he's afraid of somehow implementing the former president, because I believe Senator Rubio still wants to run for president, and he will do anything, any way the wind blows politically. It is cool with him if he thinks it's going to be advantageous to him.
Well, first, I think Senator Rubio is going to have to get in line behind Governor DeSantis for 2024.
Well, I mean, when we look at the issues that we're facing in Florida today and around the nation today, we need good, strong leadership, people who really want to represent all people.
All the people. And we're talking to an LGBTQ audience. Your voice has been loud and clear on the Equality Act. Tell us a little bit about what you think about the value and importance of the Equality Act and where we are at.
It is extremely important, and as you know, we passed it in the House of Representatives. This critical piece of legislation that will help to level the playing field is sitting in the Senate, the place where the Senate minority leaders calls the graveyard, the place where legislation goes to die. I think that's shameful. And that's why it is so important that we send leaders to the Senate who really want to represent all of the people. The Equality Act is sitting there. The John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act is sitting there. The Freedom to Vote Act, legislation that would protect a woman's right to choose. We can do better, and we must do better.
I understand, and of course the LGBTQ community is listening to you loud and clear. We are watching unprecedented times. We thought with the election of Joe Biden that Donald Trump was finally finished, but today, over a year later, it's actually a bit worse here in Florida with these bills that are in committee and being pushed through about don't say gay and potential of book bans, the woke language. What do you think about what's going on in Tallahassee?
This is what I think about. I think about families and individuals are struggling every day about issues that affect them every day. They're worried about their jobs. They're worried about their families. They're worried about health care. In Florida, we should do everything we could to protect our environment or stop the flooding that's occurring down south, to lower the prices that everyday Floridians are paying in the grocery stores and at the gas pumps. We don't have time for that agenda that is coming out of Tallahassee. We need to pass legislation that makes people's lives better and improves their quality of life. And when I am elected to the Senate, we are going to do just that.
It's interesting to me. One final question. As it relates to that platform and various different kinds of things, I know you're a very outspoken supporter voting rights expansion.
Yes.
Broadly, you're speaking to the LGBTQ community, to the platform issues that you're bringing forth in Florida in this Senate campaign. What would you say to the LGBTQ community? What can they, in these perilous times that we're facing, what can they do? What can they do to support you? How can they help propel this farther? What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, I certainly need their help and want their help in this election. It is so critical. Our nation is in trouble. My website is valdemings.com. They can go sign up to volunteer, walk and knock on doors, make donations, make some phone calls for me. All of those things are important, but they need to also use their voices. We're in this together. We will not tolerate an America that continues to want to discriminate. We cannot tolerate that. We cannot go back to a darker time. Every person living in this country deserves better. And so we've got to work together and get it done.
Well, the election against Senator Marco Rubio in November, we're going to follow you closely. The LGBTQ community is going to follow you closely. He won, I believe, and it's been a while, around out of 8 million votes. I think he won by only like 32,000 votes. Very smallest of narrow margins. So the LGBTQ community could be very powerful in this Senate race. Well, we're going to follow you very closely.
Thank you.
Congratulations, an electric night here at the Florida LGBTQ Democratic Caucus.
Thank you.
Congresswoman Val Demings, running for U.S. Senate in Florida.
Thank you.
Orlando's first female police chief, Val Butler Demings, learned from her parents about the American dream. They didn't have much, 2 parents and 7 children in a small wood-framed house in Jacksonville. Her mother, Eloise Butler, worked as a maid. Her father, James, as a janitor, landscaper, and orange picker. As many jobs as it took to get by. Work hard and play by the rules they taught her. Have faith. Treat others as you want to be treated. Never tire of doing good. In America, these were the building blocks of a successful life. She took her first job at 14 as a dishwasher. Worked hard in school and became the first in her family to go to college, working at a fast food restaurant to pay the way. She became a social worker, working to protect children in broken homes. Then, dismayed at a system that was leaving too many families behind, she signed up to become a police officer, an officer with a social worker's heart. It was a tough path, and tougher still in the 80s for a woman and a Black American in a profession that had few of either. But no obstacle had ever deterred the daughter of James and Eloise. She graduated from the police academy with citations for excellence and quickly earned a reputation as a bold, creative cop willing to take on conventional thinking and the toughest parts of the city. Chief Demings served 27 years and at every rank in the department. She commanded the Special Operations Division and handled the department's highest profile tasks. She coordinated the response of the Airport Division on 9/11, and in 2007, she made history when she was appointed to serve as the city's first female police chief. The eyes of the city were on her. The financial crisis was squeezing budgets, but by taking the tough fights head on, she did more with less, kept officers on the street, crushed violent crime, and reducing it by 40%. In 2016, Chief Demings was elected by the voters of Florida's 10th district to serve in Congress. She swiftly gained a reputation as a tireless champion for public safety, civil rights, and the American dream that had given her a chance to succeed. She gained widespread acclaim for her conduct as a deliberative and justice-focused impeachment manager during the first impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump. Congresswoman Val Demings and her husband, Jerry Demings, who's currently serving as the mayor of Orange County, have been blessed with 3 children and 5 grandchildren. When she's not serving her constituents and spending time with her family, she rides her Harley Davidson, her Harley Davidson Road King Classic. Through it all, she's never tired of doing good, the lesson taught to her by her parents in their home in Jacksonville. She's never given up on that promise of what America could be if we have the bravery to fight for it together. Please welcome our very good friend, Congresswoman Val Demings.
Thank you, 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 thank you. Well, good evening, everybody. It is so good. It's so good. It is really so good for me to be here in St. Pete with you. I want to thank you for this invitation to say just a few words, but before I do that, I want to remind you that leadership is not easy, especially when you're trying to do it right, especially when you're trying to do your job by representing the interests of everybody. And so I want to take just a moment to thank your president. Stephen, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for bringing us together. Yeah. President John F. Kennedy, during his inaugural address, said that, "Let every nation know that we will pay any price, that we will bear any burden, that we will support any friend and oppose any foe for the success and the survival of liberty." I want you to think about those words and the battles that we're fighting today. See, that is why. See, our liberties, our freedoms always come with a price. When we think about the struggles in the LGBTQ plus community, there are those who have struggled, there are those who suffered, there are even those who have died for the survival and the success of liberty. See, that is why we are not sitting down, we are not shutting up, we are not going back. We're going to fight and fight and fight some more. And let me give you another message. As a mother of 3 sons, leave our children the hell alone. And if you did not know, let me tell you, I am running for the United States Senate, and I'm running to win. See, let me tell you something. Florida can do better, and Florida will do better when we send a message to Marco Rubio, hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. See, why does this matter? Why is it so important? See, I'm working for that Florida, working for that America that we said we are, not the America that discriminates, not the America that picks winners and losers based on your ability to pay to play. I'm working for that America that for every person, regardless of who they are, the color of their skin, how much money they have in the bank, their sexual orientation, or their religion has an opportunity to succeed. See, we're not going to tolerate any other America. That is the America we were promised, and we're going to hold America to its promise. Why does this matter? Why is it so important? Why is it so important to me? Why is it so important to you? See, I was in the Capitol on January 6th. I was there to witness the peaceful transfer of power. And although we have been asked to not believe our lying eyes and lying ears, remember, it was just another tourist day. There was nothing peaceful about the peaceful transition of power. See, I was there when the Capitol Police ran in and told the members of Congress to get down on the floor and don a gas mask. See, I was there when I heard the rioters outside chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," and they rolled the gallows on the Capitol lawn. They had the desire and the means to do so. See, I was there when they beat police officers down with flagpoles, baseball bats, and pikes, and flagpoles carrying the American flag. People who refuse to accept the will of the people. See, remember, we are a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, and the people matter, and the people have spoken. I remember one of my colleagues, when they told us to get down on the floor, she said to me, "Val, what do you think is going to happen?" I said, "I'm not sure what is going to happen. But if we all die today, then if we are as big and bad as we say we are, if we really believe in the United States Constitution, the rule of law, and our democracy, if those things matter at all, then another group will just come in and certify those electoral ballots declaring Joe Biden as the president of the United States and Kamala Harris as the vice president of the United States. See, the will of the people, it matters. And we can talk about health care. We can talk about public education. We can talk about the housing crisis. We can talk about Social Security and Medicare. We can talk about paying a livable wage that's truly livable. We can talk about getting the Equality Act that's sitting in the Senate passed. We can talk about a woman's right to choose when are they going to get over it. But let me remind you, we can talk about all of those things, all of those priorities that are your priorities and my priorities. We can talk about the anti-LGBTQ plus legislation that we're seeing moving through Florida and moving through other states. We can talk about all of that. But none of that matters. It's all at risk unless we work to protect the right to vote. See, John Lewis, my friend and colleague, said the right to vote is precious, that it's almost sacred. And they can try to make voting more difficult, but they cannot make it impossible, because we're going to the poll and vote Democrats in, up and down the ballot. Is it easy? No. No, it's not easy. Is it easy? No, it is not easy. But I want you to think about some things that you've done in your life that weren't easy. You thought it was impossible, but you knew it was worth it, and you kept moving, you kept fighting, and you got it done. We have got to get to the polls come November 8th. We're not accepting no for an answer. Losing is not an option come November 8th, we will elect a Democratic governor for the state of Florida. We will elect more Democrats to the Florida House, please, yes. We will elect more Democrats to the Florida Senate. We will elect more Democrats to the United States House of Representatives. And with your help, with each one of you, come November 8th, I will be elected the next U.S. Senator to represent the great state of Florida. God bless you and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next senator from the state of Florida, Val Demings. Well, I certainly cannot top that. I just want to thank all of our speakers tonight. I want to thank all of you for coming out this weekend. We've had an amazing
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBT